Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. It's great to have you here. It's a very popular one, this. We're running, my name's Charlie Guthrie. I'm from AIS Training and Survivex, training providers here in the United Kingdom. We're running this series of webinars all week with different employers, different organizations, all of which are recruiting primarily in the oil and gas and the wind sectors, both onshore and offshore. It's a series of webinars, so if you're interested in jobs market, check out our news pages via survivex.com or training.asgroup.co.uk. Search for the news pages there and you can have a look at some of the other speakers. So we've got Halliburton coming up at 4 o'clock in the UK. We've got Wind Hoist coming up later this week, GWO, Atlas Professionals and other organisations speaking. Right now, I'm joined by Ian Summers. He's the compliance manager for TRAC Oil and Gas. They're a global rope access inspection, repair and maintenance company based out of Aberdeen, but with operations globally. And Ian is here today to talk to us about some of the projects and opportunities coming up in 2021 and a bit more about what TRAC is all about. So with that, I'll hand over to you, Ian.
Right, thanks very much, Charlie. Good afternoon, everybody. As Charlie kindly introduced me, Ian Summers. I'm also joined by Vicky Bremner, who is our company recruiter and training coordinator. Vicky will be in the background and she'll be taking notes and putting together any questions that you may have. What I plan to do for this afternoon, this afternoon session, is basically give you a quick PowerPoint, and during the course of the PowerPoint I'll be explaining where we are, who we are, what we are, and what we're looking for. And if you've got any questions or answers, any questions that you'd like to raise during the presentation, on the bottom of your screen you'll see a Q&A button. If you click on there, you can put together any questions that you have. Vicky and Charlie's team back in his head office, they'll be monitoring there and they'll be pulling together a section of questions that during the Q&A session after the presentation, we'll go through those questions and give you the best answers that we can. So without further ado, if you bear with me 2 seconds while I just upload the presentation, and we'll go straight into that.
That's perfect, Ian. Yep.
Oh, perfect for you, but not perfect for me because I've started from the wrong place. 2 seconds, please. Okay, so here we go then. Just a quick explanation. TRAC. It's not because we're illiterate and we can't spell TRAC, but basically TRAC stands for the Rope Access Company, which once I get back to the beginning, I don't know why, but so there we go. TRAC, the Rope Access Company. We started off just doing rope access. Nowadays we specialize in NDT and inspection along with trades activities, fabric maintenance, and etc. So what we do, as Charlie says, we're a leading global provider of rope access, inspection, repair, and there's our chain there from new into construction, run operations, modifications, life extensions, and decommissioning, doing rope access as a primary method of access, but we also do deck work as well. Predominantly NDT and inspection, along with repair and maintenance, all of which I'll cover separately in later slides. So basically the company was set up in 1999 by a family from Dice, Aberdeen, and that's the Hawthorne family. And after quite a few years of operating, it was then decided to diversify and go into different areas. And from there, it's now 4 companies. You've got TRAC Oil and Gas, which is where I'm speaking from, TRAC Engineering, which is based down in Glasgow area, TRAC Training, also in the Glasgow area, and Radio Design, who are down in Leeds, just outside Leeds, at a place called Shipley, who have also got areas of operation and manufacturing premises in China, India, Finland, and other locations in England. TRAC Engineering deal mainly with rail side works, and TRAC Training is rail network training and rope access. And then TRAC Oil and Gas, which is ourselves, which is predominantly in the oil and gas industry, but also in the wind renewable industry and bits and pieces onshore. We operate worldwide, and there you've got a global view of the areas of operation for 2019, and you've got the blue asterisks, which are where we've got TRAC Oil and Gas locations. Head office here in Aberdeen. Brazil, we've had an operation out in Brazil now for 7 years, which is predominantly Brazilian or Portuguese personnel. And TRAC Ghana, which has been going for just short of 2 years. We've also got an operation in Australia, which is currently in mothballs. TRAC Ghana, although is managed from Aberdeen, it's actually ran and crewed up from Ghana. So the services that we offer, you can read yourselves there, but generally everything's done by rope access, and we carry out conventional NDT, specialist NDT, radiography, remote inspection. We allow people set loose with UAVs, as we call them, drones, as most people call them, and mini ROVs. Structural and rigging, we have got a very, very capable heavy lifting department within TRAC, who work not only with clients, but also engineering, fabricators, manufacturers, and putting together bespoke repair and construction works for clients. Marine class and repair, we're very, very heavy in marine class and repair works. And we do that activity probably more around the world than we do in the UK. Project management and engineering, decommissioning and drops. So they're the areas that we specialize in, and then go into a bit of detail now for the specialist NDT, which, as I mentioned earlier, is probably our most sought after profession at the minute. Computed radiography, CAR, TOF, PEC, phased array, AUT, CMAP, SLOFEC, long range UT, ROV and UAV, and MFL. MFL is the most recent addition, along with X-ray capability. So as you can see, our specialist NDT covers a lot of areas. So that is one part of the business which is growing, and we are constantly looking out for experienced NDT techs who have got the capabilities to branch further into the specialist field, and obviously guys who have already got the certification and the competence and experience to go with that, always getting sought after. So certificate requirements that we look for. Rope access, we only use IRATA rope access. We are not SPRAT or any other organization, purely IRATA rope access technicians. NDT need to be PCN or equivalent. We do have SNT capability and we do utilize that. However, our preference is PCN, and that actually falls in line with quite a lot of our clients' requirements. Lifting inspection, API, LEA, all levels, and all categories API. Trades, industry recognized accreditations like ECITB or APITO, welding, electrical, pipe fitting, mechanical, all those coupled under the term trades. Offshore survivals obviously need to be industry recognized for the theatre that you're working in. MIST, for example, in Africa or the Americas, IMIST is the requirement, Oil and Gas UK Medical, and that goes in line with any of the wind GWO requirements. It would be GWO if it's working for offshore wind, and MIST OG UK if it's oil and gas. UK passport or the right to work in the UK. Obviously, now that we've departed from Europe, there are a lot more responsibilities that fall upon us as employer to make sure that the people that we are employing are legible for working in the UK. And a couple of little things that perhaps people don't pay much attention to, but the company's individual policies. You know, we are a family-owned and a family-run company, and we've been very successful over the lifespan, and we intend to continue being so. So we require from the people that we employ as well as they require from us. And one of the things that we require is for the acceptance of our drug and alcohol policies. Likewise, our competency assessment program. We do not just accept the certification that you come with. We also have a competency assessment program, which in essence means that you need to conduct competency assessment based on the requirements of the work scope that you're being employed in and the certification that you hold. So if, for example, you have got 6 NDT qualifications, we will conduct competency assessment for all 6 of them and not just accept your PCN or SNT or whatever it is that you've got. And that is what helps us keep our place in the market. So what have we got coming up? We are currently hiring. If you're local to Aberdeen, and if you look at our social media, you will see that we've got quite a few adverts up at the moment, which are controlled by Vicky. And from memory, you've got engineering assistants and technical authorities, which are currently being advertised, along with multidiscipline IRATA level 3 technicians. So the workshops that we've got coming up, we've got a very firm client base of term contracts where we've been in those contracts for a considerable length of time now, and the client is very comfortable with the service that we deliver and the personnel that we employ on those contracts. From there, we have got additional scopes which are being identified and being rolled out. And as a result of COVID-19 precautionary measures, a lot of work which was scheduled for last year has been held over and is now starting to be released into the market for this year. The industry, the offshore industry, has got a large shutdown coming up later on this year, and that involves a lot of the clients in the North Sea. So we are part of the delivery of that, and we will have the opportunities coming up once the shutdowns are actually announced. However, they are all based around our current term contracts. In addition to that, we've got ad hoc contracts which come up on a regular basis. So based around what we provide to our clients in inspection, NDT, rope access and trades, we have got undisclosed additional opportunities up and coming. Currently, we've got a requirement for advanced NDT technicians. We've got a scope coming up abroad, which has got a demand for a large crew of advanced NDT techs. We're always on the lookout for NDT techs because a lot of our offshore technicians, we work in a career basis and we build a career for them rather than giving them a job and saying, right, thanks very much at the end of it. We actually work together to form a team and give careers. So people who come on board as NDT techs tend to move forward and go up to either lead NDT techs or OIEs. So we need backfill for those people who progress upwards. Radiographers, our radiography requirements are increasing every year. So not only do we need experienced radiographers, we need young radiographers, young to the trade, young in being, so that we can spend time with them and once again build a career. Lifting gear inspectors, Leah, that is a well sought after requirement throughout all of our contracts. And currently looking for insulators under the fabric maintenance logo. How do we recruit? Well, Vicky is the person who deals with all that, and I'll give you all her details later on. But she very often uses all of our social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and we've also got our TRAC as you can see there, where all our positions are posted. And I think from memory, the average post is reposted about 20 times. So that is a lot of coverage which is put out and about on our social media and on the website. So you need to keep a constant lookout because it's always being updated. So how do you apply or register? So here it is, nice and simple. Onto our TRAC oil and gas webpage, into careers, and register on the portal. From there, once you're registered in our portal and all of the requirements under GDPR and etc. are taken care of, then you'll then have a response from either Vicky or the team to either collate more information or to give you details and to take it to the next stage. However, we need to make sure that you keep everything up to date and constantly visit, because after a given time, if the information that you have uploaded hasn't been used, we need to get rid of. So it's up to yourself as an individual to make sure that what we've got is actually accurate and reflects the area of where you want to be within our company. If, for example, you are a tradesman, but you've got NDT tickets, if you've applied as an NDT tech, then your trades tickets would potentially go amiss because you've applied as an NDT tech. So if you want both, then you would need to make sure that it's well established that that's what you're available for. So here we have a nice picture in summary. In amongst there's 140 years of service with TRAC. And I don't think any of them are over 25. No. So we like to, in fact, no, we don't like to think. We know that we are a family-run company. We're a family-biased company, and we make sure that each individual comes to us and is treated as an individual. That individual is given every career opportunity that we can, and we look after each and every one as though they're a member of ourselves. It's not just a number. Here you go, 007, get on with it, James. You actually come in and you tell us what you want to do, and we tell you what we can do with you. And we work together to achieve what we can. Personal development is second nature to us. Out of the support staff in the head office in Aberdeen, of which there are 24 in operations and another 16 or thereabouts in operations support, everybody has been either in the field as a rope access technician, an NDT technician, a welder, a rigger, a painter, and we've got still active in the office. We've got 4 IRATA level 3s. We've got people who are on the board of directors in IRATA. We've got people who are on the board in the BINDT, PCN. So we are very active within the industries that we are engaged, and we like to think that we need people to follow us through. So we invest in everybody as best as we can to pull them through a career and basically take the place of us young and not so young people. So here's Vicky. Here's Vicky's details. I will leave that up on the screen just now, and I will then look across to Charlie and say, do we have any questions that we can start processing? And as I say, I'll keep Vicky up on the screen just now, though.
Ian, that's great. It's good to see someone prettier on the screen now. We've had you for 15 minutes. Always nice. So I think, you know, I didn't maybe have an appreciation for the work that's, you know, the side industries, you know, the maritime, the asbestos, that sort of work that TRAC got involved in. And it's good to hear you talk about the live vacancies that are sat with TRAC, particularly around NDT. And, you know, there was some definite emphasis on the culture of TRAC there, the personal development, the career choice. This isn't, you know, the people that come in and do a 3-month contract and then disappear and go somewhere else for a different 3-month contract. This is not maybe a lifetime job, but, you know, substantial periods of time.
Yeah, and there was a survey conducted by one of our clients not too long ago, and it was discovered that 82% of our offshore and well, our field technicians, 82% of them were long-term with us and not ad hoc, jumping from job to job.
Yeah, great. So we have had quite a few questions. I don't think we'll get time to answer all of them. So if you've posed a question that we've not had time to answer, we will be updating the AIS Training and the Survivex websites with a bit of a blog post that will include some of the Q&As and a link to the video. But one of the first questions we've got is, do you only look for experienced personnel? So then followed up with, for instance, NDT, have you got a program that could help people that maybe have just got the certificates and no experience? Have you got a program to help them come into the industry at all?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I can't overemphasize how we like to build careers. We do have stumbling blocks, and that is the requirement for the scope delivery. If, for example, we've got a ad hoc job which has come in, and it requires an inspection, a report, a proposal, then we need to put people on that job who has got the competence and certification to deliver that to that client. However, when we get term contracts, we have always got the opportunity to introduce people who do not necessarily have the experience. However, they do need to have the competence, and we assess that competence before we allocate them to that job. And, you know, especially in the not so technical side of life, we do have the opportunities that we can sit with the client and work with the client to put together a parcel which we can deliver an individual to better themselves and the client's systems. Yeah.
There have actually been a couple of people complimenting TRAC on its kind of career-focused element. So the next question that's come in, we've talked a lot about offshore careers. The photograph you had on a second ago was the team offshore. What kind of balance do you have between onshore and offshore projects?
So as a TRAC group, we're probably about 50-50. However, as TRAC Oil and Gas, I would say 85% of our scopes are offshore. But that offshore includes offshore renewables as well as offshore oil and gas. Offshore renewables is still in its infancy for us. However, we've been doing that for the better part of 15 years, mainly in the pre-commissioning phase and the construction phase. But we're currently in negotiations and conversations with people and clients to take that to another level.
Great, excellent. If anyone's got any questions, keep them coming in. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see a Q&A tab there where you can pose questions, and we'll see those come through. So the next one coming up is limited companies. What's your opinion on people setting up as a limited and applying as a limited company? Presumably, if you're a much more careers focused company, then that's not necessarily as strong a thing.
So obviously this is an emotional question, and it's one that I'm going to answer, and a lot of it is my own response rather than the company's response.
Mm-hmm.
We are all aware that as of April, legislation changes, and the liability for limited companies changes in certain ways. So
yep.
We have to work with our clients as well as an individual company, and wherever we have got a client who states that they require certain parameters to be met, if one of those parameters are that leads to us being restricted in the employment of limited companies, then obviously a limited company would have difficulty being employed on that project. However, we also have clients who leave the requirement to ourselves, and currently we do not differentiate between PAYE or limited company, providing the individuals have got the requisite competence, certification, experience for that job. Everybody is considered. So it's not an easy question to answer, and hopefully I've given you a good enough answer, but if not, please feel free to come back and ask for more details.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. Okay, next question that's come up, it's a little bit more specific, this one. What LIA certificates are you looking for, says James? So would general be enough?
So initially general would be enough, yes. But once again, it comes down to the scope of work and the size of team that's required. If we're doing something on a crane, for example, which is only a small crane, and the work scope is not too intense, then we would be restricted by the time that we've got to get that work scope done. So we would need people who have got the specific capabilities to do that work. However, I would say that we've probably got about 4 people who have got the general certificate for LIA who are actively working. So yes, we do, okay. But we are restricted due to the work scope as to what we can take in.
Great. Well, we've probably got time for one more question. I can see there's quite a few more questions come in that are maybe a bit more specific, so we'll tackle those people on the blog post that we've published afterwards. But the last one I think we'll do today. So John says that you can clearly see that TRAC are involved with inspection NDT. What sort of inspection are TRAC involved with? So for instance, are you involved with statutory plant inspection, is the example he uses?
Yeah, we are involved in that within our term contracts. And we've got, I can't remember how many, but we've probably got about a dozen plant inspectors currently working for us. And that's a ever increasing requirement.
Great. Well, like I said, that's probably all we've got time for today. So we've just filled our 30-minute slot. I want to firstly thank everyone for joining us, and thank you, Ian, for coming in and giving us that useful presentation today. There's a few people who've been saying it's very informative, particularly if they're just joining the sector. Just to say that this is part of a series of webinars. So particularly if you're looking to come into the wind industry, then we have further talks from Windhoist, from GWO. If you're a oil and gas worker, Halliburton is joining us at 4 o'clock today, so in 30 minutes time. And Atlas Professionals is joining us as well. So we have a few more webinars coming up over the next few days, and to look at our news pages for that. If you have any further questions, you can send them through to us, and we will include as many answers as we can as possible on the blog post. Anything that's relevant specific to TRAC, obviously Vicky's details are still up there on screen, and you can find the details for the training providers, AIS Training and Survivex, on our websites. There have been a few questions about course prices and availability, so I think it's best just to point you guys towards the websites. But as for now, Ian, thank you very much for your time today.
No, thank you, and thank you very much for tuning in and listening to our listeners. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, everyone. That's all for today, and goodbye.